Next on Worcester News tonight, a Rutland man wrestles a wild animal off of him. Tonight, he's thankful for two tools he says helped protect him. Plus, citing a need in the region. Central Massachusetts' second medical marijuana facility opens in Oxford this week. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A coyote attack leaves a man scratched and bruised. The Rutland man says he took quick actions to fight off the animal and is thankful for skills he learned years ago. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now with more on the frightening moment. Chandler?
Olivia, Brian Hutchins says he always carries a knife with him when he's outside at night because of the town's many coyotes. He says the tool, along with a thick coat and good instincts, kept him safe during the encounter.
I pulled it over my head and I just started stabbing it.
Brian Hutchins reenacts the scary moments when a coyote attacked him in his backyard. Hutchins was checking on his 3 chickens when he says what felt like an 80-pound coyote jumped on him.
It landed right on the back of my head. It was trying to bite my head through my coat. It was like a complete all-out brawl.
Using moves he learned in high school wrestling, Hutchins was able to rip the coyote off his back. He stabbed it multiple times before it took off into the woods behind his Rutland home. Hutchins was left with a few cuts on his face and a ripped coat where the animal tried to bite him.
If it wasn't for my knife, I probably wouldn't be here today. It was absolute adrenaline. It was like a life or death because no one else was here. And it just happened so fast.
Hutchins' wife Ruth wasn't home at the time. She says when he called her, she was in shock.
I was like, oh, you are so lucky, fortunate, because they could have bit his jugular or his throat. I would have been a widow.
The Hutchins say they hear at least 30 coyotes behind their house every night. Police Chief Nick Monaco says the animals are very common in the area, but residents shouldn't be concerned.
We get calls pretty often, but there's been no problems with human coyote contact.
Mass Wildlife says there have only been 9 confirmed coyote attacks ever in the state, and they say Hutchins' reaction was the right one.
That animal wanted to kill me, so I had no choice but to do what I did.
Mass Wildlife says the coyote most likely mistook Hutchins for a small animal while they were trying to hunt his chickens. They and Rutland police recommend putting any food or trash inside and walking dogs on leashes to avoid encounters with coyotes. Olivia?
So scary. Glad he is okay. Thank you, Chandler. While it may be a chilly start to the spring season, the Central Mass Lyme Foundation is reminding people to be aware of ticks. The foundation travels to different locations throughout the year, giving presentations to raise awareness of the disease and how to take preventative action. While it may not be a warm start to the season, advocates are urging people to protect themselves as they are still susceptible to tick bites.
Larry Dapsis, the Cape Cod entomologist who came to our meeting this past Saturday, said that one bite can change your life and that you need to protect yourselves from January to December. So basically, every month of the year, we need to protect ourselves from ticks.
Simple animal adaptations, these species of ticks want to survive. So it's survival of the fittest. So they're going to live through the winters and do what they need to do to survive to get that blood meal that they want.
And next month is Lyme Disease Awareness Month, but the foundation works to educate year-round. One day after Governor Charlie Baker said he would support the death penalty for anyone who kills a cop, the Auburn Police Department is echoing his sentiment. This isn't the first time the state has had the conversation, most recently in regards to the death of Yarmouth police officer Sean Gannon, and 2 years ago after Auburn officer Ronald Tarantino was killed.
I think there's legislation currently pending before the legislature on that if the governor has go and sign it.
Governor Charlie Baker reaffirms his support of the death penalty for anyone who kills a police officer.
If it comes to fruition, obviously it would be something that we would support.
The death of Yarmouth police officer Sean Gannon brought up a lot of emotions for Auburn police. One of their own, Officer Ronald Tarantino, was shot and killed almost 2 years ago by a career criminal.
It would appear, at least as a society, we really haven't learned anything, or at least in the Commonwealth, we haven't really learned anything because the circumstances that allowed his killer to be out were very similar to the circumstances that allowed Jorge Zambrano to be out.
There was an effort to restore capital punishment after Tarantino's death. The Massachusetts Republican Party tweeted they would support tougher penalties against criminals who kill police. Meanwhile, State Senate President Harriet Chandler says in a statement, "I am personally opposed to the death penalty, and I do not foresee Massachusetts reinstating capital punishment. That being said, the death of Officer Sean Gannon is a heartbreaking tragedy, and I hope that the justice system enacts swift punishment to those responsible to the fullest extent of the law."
It's frustrating. It's beyond frustrating, when these people that shouldn't be out are doing these things.
Lieutenant Scott Mills says he hopes the discussion of reform and the death penalty continues and something will be done.
Let their lives stand, the loss of their lives stand for something, be a catalyst for not only a conversation, but actually change.
And the Auburn Police Department was at Officer Gannon's funeral Wednesday. Lieutenant Mills says the department is offering their full support to Yarmouth. The region's second medical marijuana dispensary is officially open. Curaleaf's manager says there is a need in the community and they are hoping they can help meet it. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us live now with more. Rosalind?
Dozens of patients, and they say it's rewarding to see people get their quality of life back. It has a feel of a doctor's office, but once inside, patients will have access to medical marijuana. Curaleaf opened its doors in Oxford this week, saying there's a need in the community.
It's a very underserved area, unfortunately, so the feedback has been great. They're just happy that we're here and we're happy to serve them and to help them.
Patients have to show their medical marijuana card and an ID before stepping into the building. Once in, they have to show their cards again and then have a consultation to see what is the best option.
We really do focus on that one-on-one care to make sure that every patient leaves knowing exactly what they're using and what they're doing.
Mara O'Brien is the dispensary operations manager. She says patients can have 10 ounces of medical marijuana in 60 days. They can receive it in forms like topicals and edibles. And O'Brien says it's rewarding to see how it helps improve people's lives.
You see people coming in with debilitating conditions and you kind of form a relationship over, years sometimes, and you just see them get their quality of life back.
She says they worked with the town of Oxford for years to get the dispensary up and running and are making sure they are a good partner.
They've been absolutely wonderful to work with. They're very kind. We've been in touch with the fire department, police department, planning board.
Now, Brian says they hope to sell recreational marijuana in the future if the town approves it. Olivia.
All right, thank you, Rosalind. The Uniting America Initiative hosted its second event at Worcester Technical High School. The speaker at Wednesday's event was Karen Vaughn, a Gold Star mother and author. Vaughn's son, Aaron Vaughn, was a Navy SEAL who died in 2011 when a helicopter was shot down during a mission. It was the single largest loss of life in the history of Navy special warfare. Vaughn spoke to a group at Worcester Tech about empowering veterans and other important veteran issues. She says the goal of the lecture series is to start a conversation about uniting America.
Such a spirit of division in our nation right now, and that tears at my heart as a mom whose son has died for this country. It's very compelling to me to see people doing this kind of work, uniting us. Just the title itself makes me want to cry because it's a passion of mine. Let's work this out. Let's talk. We have differences. That's okay. We've always had differences, but we've always been able in the past to respect each other aside from those differences, and it's time that we start speaking to each other with respect again.
And Vaughn has written a book called World Changer, which became a national bestseller. A big change could be coming for tobacco smokers if new regulations from the Department of Public Health are passed. Adult-only businesses would be the only retailers allowed to sell flavored tobacco products. And as our Brittany Schaefer explains, the proposal is facing opposition.
The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce is against new proposed regulations restricting the sale of flavored tobacco to only smoke shops and other businesses who only sell to adults.
We're in favor of trying to curb youth access and youth use. Our argument is a straight ban of flavored products at these locations isn't the way to really hit the root cause.
The city's Department of Public Health says their proposal is necessary to protect teens.
Lung cancer, cardiac disease, peripheral vascular disease. We are still trying to defend children from, I think, inappropriate marketing by big tobacco.
Once they start smoking or using these tobacco or nicotine products, it usually leads to a lifetime of use.
If passed, the city would be following 112 other cities and towns in Massachusetts. The Chamber's Stuart Loosemore says 96% of the city's tobacco sellers are following the minimum age of 21 to buy tobacco products. Therefore, the proposed regulations wouldn't affect youth.
Young people aren't getting them from the stores. To a great extent, they're getting them somewhere else.
The restriction would affect 266 retailers like gas stations and convenience stores in Worcester. Bosky's Market on Burncoat Street says they sell flavored tobacco daily, and taking it away will hurt business.
The effect to another sell too, like groceries and milk and bread. We can affect the soda, everything, so a little bit. So hope is they continue to keep the same way, so we doesn't lose any business.
I understand how important retail is for the economy, but we can't afford an economy that's based on designing things for bad health.
City manager at Augustus released a statement in favor Thursday, saying the restriction has the unanimous support of the city council, as well as the strong support of our administration. There will also be a public discussion about the proposal next Monday at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. Olivia?
All right, Brittany, thank you for that. A new name could soon be added to the growing list of beer makers brewing their craft in Worcester. Redemption Rock Brewing is eyeing the old Coca-Cola bottling plant on Shrewsbury Street. According to the Worcester Business Journal, the building is 78 years old. The brewery plans to replace windows and exterior doors, but it's unclear when the business will move in.